Hello everyone and welcome to our new little mini module on statistics. We're going to be working through a couple weeks of some statistics work. So maybe this will feel like a little break from all the heavy algebra we've been doing. For this first assignment, we have a Google Slides. So when you click into the link, it will make your own Google Slides. That will be your copy. And I'm going to go through all these slides now. And if you have any questions, as always, reach out to me, let me know. So we're going to be looking at three types of graphs: dot plots, histograms, and box plots. So the first two are dot plots and histograms. They're kind of similar, and you'll see how. And our goal is that given this set of univariate statistical data, you'll be able to create a dot plot and histogram and describe the distribution of that data. So next to name, you can just click that text box and type your name in and then push to the next slide, slide 2. I wanted to share this feeling wheel with y'all. I don't know, maybe you've seen it before, maybe you haven't, but it's just a really cool interactive image. So this is a feelings wheel. Let me zoom in a little bit. So if you click fit, you can zoom in. And just to read what I said here first, this is a feelings wheel. You can start in the innermost circle and work your way to the outside to get your most accurate feeling. Check in with how you're feeling before we get started. Feel free to share any details as well if you want to. You don't have to. I just kind of wanted to share that something like this exists. So right now, maybe I'm feeling a little surprised is like my main category energy. And to clarify it more, yeah, maybe it's like a confused surprise and a perplexed. So you're allowed to like travel in and out of the circle to get what your core emotion is and to what is a more descriptive word to describe how you're feeling. Okay. So instead of just saying, I feel bad, maybe it's because you're busy or you're tired, right? There's different words that can be related to a bad feeling. So take a second to type anything in the box here about how you're feeling. If you want to share your word, just a little moment to check in with yourself. So take a second to do that now. And when you feel ready, you can push ahead to slide 3 and we'll start looking at our graphs. If you want to pause the video to really look at this circle, please feel free to do that. And then when you're ready, push to slide 3. So we're talking about dot plots and histograms. On the left, we have our dot plot. So dot plot is a graphical display of data using dots on a number line. Usually, it's used to represent a smaller amount of data, and dot plots show the distribution of data, and the columns display the frequency. So we can see in this graph, it looks like 7 and 9 are the most frequent. We can also see that 8 is our lowest frequency. It's not symmetric. It's kind of bouncing throughout 0 to 9 for all these datas, but we can just visually see how our data is laid out. Similarly, in a histogram, which is a graphical display of data using bars on a coordinate grid. So instead of dots, we have these bars here that are representing the frequency of the data points. And the values also are grouped into bins or buckets. So if you zoom in really close to the graph here, you can see the first one is 0 to 9, and then 10 to 19, 20 to 29. So they're grouped into these categories. Usually histograms are used for a bigger set of data, and then we have these bins for grouping. But again, we can easily see, hey, this is the most frequent category. That's what happened the most. We can easily see like there's no data from 0 to 19. So it gives us this visual picture of what is happening with our data. Okay. So let's try and make a few together. Push ahead to slide 4. And you're going to see all these dots lined up. So we have a set of data given to us, and we are going to construct a dot plot. So our first dot is 13. So I'm just going to drag that dot of 13 right above the number 13 on the number line. Then we have 18. And again, just dragging it. 19 is next, followed by 17. I'm just clicking, dragging these dots, and then 10. And then I have another 19, so I'm going to put it on top of my first 19 dot. Another 18, a 20, and a 15. And there's our dot plot. So some things we can tell that all of our data goes from 10 to 20. It's more grouped between 17 and 20. It's more frequently grouped around that area. And 18 and 19 are kind of our max, but they're both just at 2. So there's our first dot plot. Yay! Let's look at, we're going to do like 3 dot plots and 3 histograms. So let's look at our first histogram. We have 13, 18, 19, 17, 10, 19, 18, 20, and 15. So it says a set of data is given, construct a histogram. So our first bucket is 10 to 13. So we have a 13 and a 10, and I believe that's it. So I'm just going to bring this bar down, click and hold it down to 2, because there's just 2 values between 10 and 13. For 14 to 17, we have a 17, a 15, and I believe that's it. So we're going to bring that bar just down to 2, like so. And the last one, 18 to 21, we have an 18, 19, another 19, another 18, and a 20. So that is going to stay up at 5. And here's our bar graph. With the bar graph, we don't know all the individual data points, but we know how they're grouped within those buckets, and we can tell which bar is highest in that particular bucket range. Okay. So once you're all set there, push to slide 6. We're going to make another dot plot. Just dragging these points one at a time. So we have a 26, a 24, a 28, another 24, 30, 34, there's a 36, another 30, 38, 28, oops, I'm going to move that over a little bit, another 30, 24, and finally a 42. So with this dot plot, we can see our range goes from 24 to 42. It's highest at 24 and 30. Those are the most frequent. And we can see it's grouped more towards the left between that 24 to 30 number range. Beautiful. Slide 8 will be our next histogram. 20 to 25 is our first bucket, so we're looking for any number between 20 and 25. I think I see 3. And I like to mark them. I know it's harder to mark on Google Slides, but if you want to write these down on paper and then cross them off, because sometimes you'll miss one and then you just gotta adjust it later. 26 to 31, we have 26, 28, 30, another 30, another 28, and a 30. 4, 5, 6 in total. Right there. 32 to 37. A 34, a 36, and that's it. So we'll bring that down to 2. And then the last one is 38 to 43, where we have a 38 and a 42. So there's 2 of those. And there's our histogram. We'll notice the bars are always very close together. They're touching. And we always have those bins or buckets down below. So that's kind of the telltale signs of a histogram. So I want you to try to do number 8, slide 8 and slide 9 on your own. So slide 8 is just making another dot plot just like we did the other two. And slide 9 is making the histogram. So try those two on your own. Make sure you're doing those as well. 8 and 9 you're going to do on your own. And then we'll do 10 and 11 together for our last two. 49, so we don't see a 49, so I'm on slide 10 right now. So I'm putting 49 in the middle. Here's another 49 right between 48 and 50. There's a 43, a 54, 52, 40, 48, 46, 50, 52, and 54. So here's our dot plot for slide 10, going from 40 to 54, a range of 14. And we see how it's grouped more towards the right and kind of skewed out left, right? There's a couple dots towards the left that's skewing the data out. And what I mean by that is if we were to make like a graph of the data, we would see it rises over here on the right and kind of skews out. It's getting pulled to the left. And last one on slide 11 for the histograms. Between 40 and 44, we have one. Just one? Oh, here's two, 43. Good. So there's those two. For the next one, between 45 and 49, 1, 2, 3, 4 in total. And then finally, 50 to 54, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. So you can see how it's increasing each time in the bars. It's getting bigger as the numbers get larger. So make sure you have done all of those and that you did 8 and 9 independently. Don't miss those slides. And that is our dot plot and histogram. Just getting used to making them and working through them. We're going to look at one more type of graph that we use, which is a box and whisker plot, also known as a box plot. So actually, hold on, I'm going to pause the video and do part 2 for box and whisker plots, okay? So check out part 2 as we finish up the Google Slides.